Hello, viewers. Good afternoon. I'm called Ebot Elizabeth. I'm here to talk on ethics. So, what is ethics all about, and what's the objective of ethics? The objective is to define ethics, to give the reasons why we study ethics, and then to give the types of ethics. So, what is ethics? Ethics is a branch of social science which focuses on the values, the belief, and the tradition that shapes our life. It can also be defined as a study of our values, norms, and beliefs, and their justifications. Ethics is the study of a way of life, a way of our life, its values, its rules, and our justification. It involves thinking about what is good or evil and what they mean. The word ethics refers to both subject matter and discipline. First, as a discipline, ethics refers to the study of our values and their justifications. And secondly, as a subject matter to that discipline, ethics refers to the actual value and the rules of conduct by which we live. This takes us to the reasons why we study ethics. And the first reason why we study ethics is because our society is continuously changing from time to time. Now, when we talk about being changing from time to time, we mean ethics in the dark ages can never be ethics in the middle age. So, as a citizen of a country, we need to be constantly checking our ethics so that we'll be in line with the ethical domain or innovations that may arise at each point in time in our lives and in our society. The second reason why we need to study ethics is because we live in a pluralist society, and we all admit that ethics is built from a social custom of every country, and every ethics actually differs from one country to the other. That's the reason why we need to study ethics. We have a wide range of ethics in different countries, and we need to know those different range of ethics to be able to know which one is good or preferable for our country. Now, the third reason why we must study ethics is because our ethical values are constantly in conflict. In this case, I'll give an example. For instance, as earlier mentioned, in the Western world, homosexuality, abortion, lesbianism is legalized and is acceptable according to your society. But in Africa, it's rejected because we look at it as an ethical wrong. We don't consider it in Africa as a moral value.
I'm called Chiafe Shiranye, and I'm going to continue from where my colleague ended with the reasons for studying ethics. Our ethics involve choice. We live in a variety of ethical values, and ethics involve from one society to other or community. We choose which of these ethical values which are applicable. It is equally the right of the individual to choose which of these ethical values which are correct. Now we move to the types of ethics.
Thank you.
Firstly, we have normative ethics, which is that branch of ethics that tells us what to do and what not to do, what is good and what is evil. Normative ethics is concerned with specific questions of what is high and concerned with specific questions of what is right and wrong, and tries to settle down some concrete rules to correct our behaviors, such as thou shalt not kill and do not cheat. Secondly, we have meta-ethical. It is that branch of ethics that asks questions about ethical concepts, not just for the sake of asking questions, but to better understand issues of morality, that is, good and evil. It is concerned with more abstract questions. And thirdly, having to do with the meaning and justification of ethical concepts and principles, such as what is evil and what is moral principle. Then we go to ethical concepts, learning objectives, which are prudence and morality, egoism and altruism, justice and equity, collective, that's social and cooperative moral responsibility.
I'm called Ebot Ashu Dr and I will continue from where my colleague stopped, taking on the first point, which is morality and prudence. Prudence is looking out for one's own personal interests. This implies that one is sensible and careful when making decisions. We go on to morality. Morality looks beyond one's own interest to what is right or required. It concerns with other people's interest to what is right or required. Morality, unlike prudence, is necessary, impersonal, and objective. It is not determined by an individual. It is determined by the will of God or by the society in which we live in. We have egoism and altruism. Egoism, like prudence, means looking out for your interests. However, unlike prudence, egoism suggests some essential antagonism between one's interests and the interests of others. Egoism is anti-ethical to morality. Due to that, we have two types of egoism, which are psychological egoism and ethical egoism. Psychological egoism is a psychological theory that everything we do for our own interest, whether or not they do the very action back to us. Meanwhile, ethical egoism is a view that ought to act to his or her own interest. We go to altruism. Altruism means acting for the interest of others. It involves caring about the needs and happiness of other people. Altruism may be based on some sense of attachment or compassion. Altruism is divided into two: psychological altruism and ethical altruism. Psychological altruism is a theory or concept that people naturally act for the belief of others. Meanwhile, ethical altruism is the view that people ought to act for the benefit of
My
others.
name is Lina Pilem, and I will continue from where my colleague ended with ethical concept. We have justice and equity. Justice is that sense of wrong when someone is being cheated or unfairly taken advantage of, in the sense that people who do wrong should be rewarded. It is a belief that wealth or power should not give a person a certain kind of advantage. Equity in a nutshell means everyone counts. It means that in respect to being a person, everyone should be treated the same. That formal principle of equity is that everyone in the same situation should be treated equally. We'll move next to collective and corporate moral responsibility. The notion of collective responsibility, like that of personal responsibility and shared responsibilities, refer to both the casual responsibility of moral agents for harm in the world and the blameworthiness that we ascribe to them for having caused such harm. Hence, it is like two more purely individualist counterparts, almost always a motion of moral rather than purely casual responsibility.
And I'll be talking about character education. And our objectives under character education are personal values, social values such as good manners, um, African traditional values such as marriage, family life, and kindness, and political values. So, what are personal values? Personal values, according to Webster, he defined values as strongly held belief of what's important, valuable, or acceptable. Val if values are of as you can see, values are beliefs and are mostly expressed as nouns. For example, tradition, wisdom, free man. If your family is very close to you and you cannot stay without them, they can be considered as your personal values. So now, why are values important? Why do we study values? Values are important because they help you in tough situations. They help you to able to make better decisions in the life. Now, we in life we always face tough situations, and we need values to be able to make the correct decisions in those circumstances. Also, if you know the knowing the values which are important in particular circumstances also help you to make better decisions. Values act as rules and guidelines which help you to face the circumstances in which you encounter in life. Simple steps in defining your personal values. We will talk about 5 steps which help you to define your personal values, and the first step is finding your zen. In finding your zen, you need to go to a calm area to allow your innermost thoughts to flow. Finding your zen, you need to be in your best mood. For example, you can go for a run, you can sit on your chair or sit on your desk. When finding your zen, it's always advisable to record your thoughts or to use the old method, paper and pen. After finding your zen, you need to examine your background.
I'll continue from where my colleague ended, talking about examining your background. Values are like grandfather to This will be passed down, and the culture and family are forever. These two exist forever, and they shape who you are as a man. Your grandfather roles, family, and culture are two things that money can't buy. Examine your background in order to embody the spirit of your family. You need to include your tradition, your habits, your tendencies. And you have to ask yourself these two questions. What values does your family hold? Before you can define your set of values, you must recognize the values your family holds. Maybe you had a great-grandfather who immigrated to America, started his own business, and kept it going throughout the Great Depression. He passed his value of hard work, diversity, and perseverance to your grandfather, who passed them to your father, who passed them down to you. This is always a core influence behind the values you hold, but you need to identify where they come from in order to keep passing them down along. Now, talking about what values do I want to pass along to my children? That is the second point. After you have identified the values passed on to you from your forefathers, you have to decide which values you want to pass on to your children. You may feel like this is too far down, but it is not. You will be one of the biggest influence your children have. Make sure your personal values are those you will be comfortable passing down the family line. Your personal values are those you will become comfortable in passing down to your family line to your children. Ask yourself how you will make sure your children receive these values. Maybe you help them start and grow their own business in high school. Maybe you take them with you to volunteer at a soup kitchen.
Okay, to continue with where my colleague ended on the 5 simple steps of defining your personal values, I'll go to the fourth. The fourth is examine your influences. It should be pretty easy to identify who you look up to, who are your mentors. Although we all can't be lucky enough to be whisked away on a 10-year yacht voyage, most of us have a mentor who has helped to shape into the man we are today. Sometimes that man is a father, other times it is a boss or a friend. Why do I look up to this person? I'm sure you will find that there are very specific things that stands out as your answer. This is what makes them unique. Notice how they react in tough times or tough situations, how they lead or follow, and how they treat others. What are values guides their actions. Once you examine your models at, try to determine what values guide them. The fourth point is examine your choices. If you have not chiseled your own core values into stone, examining the choices you've made in life can help you to better define them. Ask yourself, who are my closest friends? Your friends are an influence of your type of person you are, whether you like it or not. Examine your friendship, how they started, and why they have endured. Often you share similar values with those you are closest to. How do I respond to hardship or good fortune? The way you react to challenges, emotional situations can shed light on the type of values you hold. Some people meet hardship with difficult emotion, while others put on a game face in order to tackle it directly. How do I treat others around me? Examine how you interact with people. The way you form relationships with other people is a very good indicator of your personal values. If you're the kind of guy who always makes the group laugh, humor might be one of your personal values. Or if you prefer to help people solve their problems, you might hardly value logic. Point number 5, brainstorming. Remember when teachers will have you make word lists and draw bubbles before deciding on which essay topic to write about? But here's the thing, it's crucial to brainstorm important decisions. Take that pen and paper or that smartphone and begin listing values and come to you. As you do, keep it in mind that you're using your background, past choices, and influences to form the list. If you end up with an extensive outline, that's okay. It may be very necessary to read through your list and concentrate on the 10 or 20 values that are most important to you. Don't be afraid to put your list down, reflect, and come back to it another time. This is often the best way to make important, potentially life-changing decisions. In order to help you come up with your own core value list, I put together a comprehensive list of values that are common among strong men.
My name is Kunfin Tomjoji. I'll be elucidating today on the values of a strong man. Firstly, identifying and understanding your virtues is a very challenging and important exercise. Your personal values are essential parts of who you are and what you want to be. By becoming more aware of these factors of life, you are able to use them as guides in making choices in any situation. Firstly, we have perseverance. Ask any legal minor expert in any field and they'll tell you how many times they have failed. They'll tell you how they have failed more times than any other person could ever try. Don't give up when the going gets tough. Quitting is like a job. It's very addictive. Don't give up when the going gets tough. Quitting is like a job. It's very addictive. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. A quote from Winston Clinton. I'll go to the second point, which is logic. Logic. Relating your life to a staircase are similar because both of them require steps. Deciding what you want to become in 10 years and allocating logical strategies to achieve your goal. That is to get there. Numbers should be your friends. And thirdly, consistency. Then you have consistency. Consistency is not synonymous to boring. Being consistent fills you with a sense of comfort, makes you comfortable in making decisions which others could rely on your actions because you lay modalities to achieve them. And thirdly, you have conviction. A person with conviction believes that it is important. A person with conviction believes that it's more important to stick to your guns and follow your guts. It is important not to change your mind until you believe in an ideology. It is impossible to succeed or achieve in life if you have no conviction in your decision. So conviction is an important value, personal value of a man. Thirdly, I'll go to the fifth point, discretion. Discretion is the way you behave or speak, which is a tact in behavior or speaking in a way that does not offend others or reveal your personal information. It's a very important virtue in a social and professional setting since we constantly interact with new people. Accomplishment is a sixth value of a man. Accomplishment, you could be a type of person who likes to set out goals and plan how to achieve them. Then your personal value is accomplishment. But remember always to be humble about your accomplishment. 7 is humor. Humor is a skill set of a character that can make a tough situation seem more bearable. As with many values, we should know which situation is appropriate for humor and which one calls for more severe tone. So humor should not be underlooked as a core value, but instead should be handy in all situations. Lastly, we have acceptance. The world is filled with literally billions of people, of all which have unique character traits and multiple ways. So we should be able to bear with people of different characters, for God himself is unique. So acceptance is one core value we should have in the society. These are the 8 attributes and traits of a strong man. Thank you.